My beloved child, listen carefully, because this moment has been appointed. This is not coincidence. This is not imagination. This is not something you click by accident. The title you saw was not random. Heaven arranged this encounter because time has compressed, and what is about to unfold is directly connected to the house you are living in right now. Archangel Michael stands watch at the threshold of your awareness, and his voice is firm, calm, and unmistakably urgent. He says, "Pay attention. Someone is watching your house, not with human eyes, but with spiritual intent. And tonight marks a turning point. You may feel a strange tension in the air lately, a heaviness that comes and goes, or moments where your heart beats faster for no clear reason. This is not fear. This is discernment awakening. Something unseen has been circling your space, observing patterns, waiting for distraction, hoping for silence. But heaven never warns without also providing protection. This is why this message reached you now. Archangel Michael reveals that houses are not just buildings. They are altars. They hold memories, words spoken, prayers whispered, tears shed, and decisions made in secret. Your house has been listening. And tonight, a hidden truth connected to your home is preparing to surface. Do not misunderstand this. This is not about panic. This is about preparation. There has been a delay that protected you until now. A pause that kept something from manifesting too early. But delays expire. And when they do, things move quickly. Archangel Michael says that something shocking does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes it arrives as a realization. Sometimes as exposure. Sometimes as a sudden shift that cannot be reversed. And if ignored, the opportunity to respond correctly passes. My beloved child, this is why your spirit felt prompted to listen. Heaven is not threatening you. Heaven is inviting you to align. Archangel Michael is assigned to moments of spiritual conflict and divine intervention. He does not come for small matters. He comes when territories matter. And yes, your house is a territory. There has been an open door that you did not recognize as an open door. Not physical, spiritual. It came through routine, familiarity, or emotional exhaustion. Nothing dramatic, just subtle. And subtle openings are the most dangerous because they feel normal. But tonight, awareness changes everything. Archangel Michael says, if they become aware, I can act fully. Heaven responds to recognition. Something shocking may happen tonight, but shocking does not always mean harmful. Sometimes what shocks us is the truth finally revealed. Sometimes it is protection showing itself clearly. Sometimes it is the sudden removal of what never belonged there in the first place. Pay attention to interruptions. Pay attention to unexpected conversations. Pay attention to sudden clarity. These are signs of intervention. Your house has been a battlefield between distraction and destiny. And destiny is stepping forward. Do not dismiss this message as dramatic. The enemy thrives on dismissal. But Archangel Michael does not exaggerate. He says this moment is time-sensitive, not to scare you, but to sharpen you. There are words that must be spoken aloud tonight. Gratitude, authority, alignment. You do not need special rituals. You need intentional awareness. Heaven is not asking you to fight. Heaven is asking you to stand. My beloved child, the reason this feels intense is because it matters. Your peace has been targeted because your future carries weight. And what is coming into alignment in your life required one final attempt of interference before breakthrough. Archangel Michael is already positioned. His presence surrounds your house even now. But he honors free will. He honors attention. He honors obedience to inner prompting. Do not ignore the nudge to stay alert. Do not brush off the inner voice telling you to listen fully. This message is a key, and keys only work when used. Tonight is not about fear. Tonight is about authority being reclaimed. Tonight is about your house returning fully under divine covering. And what happens next will make sense only if you stayed present for this moment. The warning is real. The protection is greater. And the outcome depends on awareness. Beloved one, let your heart stay open for a moment longer, because what Archangel Michael is revealing now goes deeper than what your natural eyes can see. This is where many people stop listening, but those who continue are the ones who receive clarity. The atmosphere around your house is responding even as you listen, because awareness activates movement in the unseen. Archangel Michael speaks of watchers not as figures to fear, but as realities to understand. Every house attracts attention based on what is inside it. Peace attracts protection. Purpose attracts opposition. And your house has been marked not because of weakness, but because of what is forming within you. There is something being prepared in your life that requires stability, safety, and spiritual order. That is why this moment matters. You may have noticed unusual patterns recently. Sleep disturbances, repeated thoughts, a sense that something is off but hard to explain. These are not random. Archangel Michael says this is the result of spiritual observation meeting divine timing. What has been observing no longer has permission to remain hidden. Light has a way of forcing exposure without noise. Tonight is important because houses carry thresholds. A threshold is not just a door. It is the place where permission changes, and permission shifts when someone becomes conscious. That is why ignoring this would delay clarity, not because danger is stronger, but because silence gives confusion more time. Archangel Michael wants you to understand this clearly. Nothing has power over you unless it is allowed through unawareness. The moment you recognize, authority returns to your hands. Heaven does not operate on panic. Heaven operates on order. And order is being restored now. This is why he urged you to listen fully. Many scroll away right before understanding arrives. But you stayed, and that matters. There is a reason your spirit did not let you leave yet. Something is aligning as these words settle into you. Your house is meant to be a place of rest, not tension. A place of renewal, not heaviness. Archangel Michael is repositioning what was out of alignment. You may not see it physically, but spiritually, things are being moved. Assignments are being canceled. Influence is being cut off. But this only completes when you agree with what heaven is doing. Agreement is powerful. Agreement is not shouting or striving. It is inner alignment. It is choosing to be present instead of dismissive. That is why this message is unfolding step by step. Rushing would weaken it. Awareness strengthens it. Beloved, if this message is resonating, do not keep it to yourself. When you like this video, when you comment, when you share it, you are not just supporting content. You are amplifying light. You are helping this warning and protection reach others who may be unaware but deeply need it. Subscribe to this channel if you feel led, because these messages are not accidental. They arrive right on time for those who are meant to hear them. And if your heart feels stirred, joining the membership is a way of staying consistently covered and connected to what is being released here. Archangel Michael says that tonight's events will feel subtle but significant. Pay attention to shifts in mood, in atmosphere, in thought. What once felt heavy may suddenly feel quiet. What once felt confusing may feel clear. That is not coincidence. That is correction. There is also a warning here, spoken gently, but firmly. Do not invite distraction tonight. Do not drown this awareness with noise. Silence is not empty. Silence is where clarity speaks. Your house will respond to what you choose to focus on. Some people expect dramatic signs, but Archangel Michael reminds you that the most powerful protection often feels like peace returning. When interference leaves, calm replaces it. That calm is the evidence. If you are still listening right now, it means your discernment is active. Hold on, because what is about to be revealed next connects directly to a specific action that seals what heaven has already started. This is where many people miss the final step, but you will not. The reason this message feels personal is because it is. Your house, your space, your life matter. Heaven does not issue general warnings without personal intention. You are being prepared, not frightened. Strengthened, not shaken. Stay present. Let these words settle. What comes next will make everything clearer, and you will understand why timing was so critical. Chosen one, draw closer in spirit, because what Archangel Michael reveals now is the turning key. Many hear warnings, but few are shown the moment when protection becomes permanent. This is that moment. The atmosphere around your house is already responding, and what you do with this awareness determines how deeply peace settles in. Archangel Michael speaks of spiritual lines that run through places just as surely as foundations run beneath walls. Every home sits at the crossing of choices made over time. Words spoken in anger or love. Prayers whispered or neglected. Gratitude expressed or withheld. These things create a spiritual climate. And tonight, that climate is shifting. The one who was watching did not expect you to become aware. That is the shock. Awareness interrupts patterns. When you listen, when you stay present, you remove the advantage of secrecy. Archangel Michael says that secrecy is the currency of interference. Once light enters, its value collapses. This is why tonight matters. Not because something bad must happen, but because something old is ending. The shock is not destruction. The shock is revelation. Something that was tolerated quietly is losing access. Something that lingered without permission is being escorted out. You may feel an urge to walk through your house differently tonight. To pause. To breathe. To notice. Follow that prompting. It is not superstition. It is alignment. Archangel Michael often works through subtle obedience, not dramatic gestures. When you move with intention, the unseen adjusts. Here is also a truth being revealed about responsibility. Not blame, but authority. Heaven is reminding you that your house responds to your spiritual posture. When you choose calm over anxiety, gratitude over complaint, awareness over distraction, you reinforce protection. You are not powerless here. You are part of it. Some of you have wondered why peace felt fragile lately. Archangel Michael answers gently. It was not fragile. It was forming. Formation often feels unstable before it becomes solid. Tonight is when formation completes. The watching ends when stability is established. Do not look for signs of fear. Look for signs of order. A sudden clarity of thought. A sense of relief you cannot explain. A quiet confidence returning. These are confirmations that the shift is real. Archangel Michael is also restoring boundaries. Boundaries are not walls of isolation. They are lines of clarity. What belongs is welcomed. What does not belong has no access. Your house is being reclassified spiritually as a place of rest and purpose. That reclassification required this moment of attention. Beloved, some of you are realizing now why you felt drawn to clean, rearrange, or let go of certain items recently. Physical order often mirrors spiritual preparation. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was random. You were being prepared to notice. As this message continues to unfold, let your heart stay receptive. Do not rush past this moment. There is a sealing happening, and sealing requires agreement. Agreement is quiet confidence, not effort. Archangel Michael stands not only as a warrior, but as a guardian of divine order. His presence is calm, precise, and unwavering. Where he stands, confusion cannot linger. Where he speaks, clarity settles. That is what is happening now in your space. If emotions surface, allow them. Release is part of restoration. Tears do not weaken protection. They often complete it. You are not being judged. You are being covered. The warning was real because the assignment was real. But the outcome is peace because heaven intervened on time. This is why you were led here. This is why you listened instead of scrolling away. What happens after tonight will feel different. Not dramatic but grounded. Not loud but stable. That is the sign you were protected correctly. Now receive this gently, because it is important. Protection remains strongest when gratitude is expressed. Gratitude anchors awareness. Before you rest tonight, acknowledge what has shifted. You do not need many words. A simple recognition is enough. Archangel Michael says this house is now under reinforced watch, not because of fear, but because of purpose. What is coming in your life requires a stable foundation. A night secured that foundation. Type "I receive divine protection" in the comments if this message is speaking to your spirit. Blessing code 819 has just been released. And hear this final instruction flowing naturally from what has just been sealed. If this message reached you at the exact moment you needed it, understand that it is not meant to stop with you. When you give, you become a carrier of the same light that protected your house tonight. As the word says, when seed is sown into good ground, a harvest rises that feeds many. I feel led to tell you directly, your support opens doors for souls who are still unaware but deeply in need of this warning and covering. This is not a donation. This is obedience media opportunity. When you release through super thanks, membership, or PayPal, you activate provision the same way oil kept flowing for the widow. I speak blessing over every giver now. May peace multiply in your house as you become a channel of peace to others. Do not delay what your spirit is prompting. Act now, and let heaven respond. Beloved soul, now that the seal has been set, Archangel Michael draws your attention to what unfolds after protection is established. Many people think the story ends when danger passes, but heaven knows that stability is only the beginning. When interference is removed, space opens. And whatever fills that space determines the next chapter of your life. Archangel Michael speaks calmly now, not with urgency, but with authority. He says that after watching ends, alignment begins. The atmosphere of your house is no longer responding to pressure. It is responding to intention. This is subtle but powerful. You may notice that your thoughts feel more organized, your emotions less reactive, your breathing deeper. These are not mood changes. These are signs that resistance has lifted. Here is something important you must understand. When spiritual observation is cut off, momentum returns. Delayed clarity begins to move. Stalled decisions start to resolve. This is why the enemy tries to linger unnoticed, because delay is often more damaging than direct opposition. But that season has ended. Archangel Michael reveals that your house is now entering a phase of recalibration. Just like a compass resets when interference is removed, your inner direction is correcting itself. You may feel drawn toward changes that once felt overwhelming. Do not resist this pull. It is not restlessness. It is alignment reasserting itself. Some of you will notice conversations shifting. People may speak differently to you. Situations that once drained you may lose their grip. This is not coincidence. When spiritual authority is restored internally, it reflects externally. Your presence changes the room because your house changed first. There is also a gentle caution here. Peace can feel unfamiliar after long tension. Sometimes people mistake calm for emptiness because they are used to noise. Archangel Michael says, "Do not fill this new quiet with old habits. Let peace teach you how to live without constant alertness." This is where maturity grows. Not in crisis, but in calm. Your house is becoming a place where wisdom settles, not just relief. And wisdom requires patience. Allow yourself time to adjust to safety. You do not need to scan for threats anymore. Heaven is guarding the perimeter. Archangel Michael also speaks of memory. Some memories tied to this house may resurface briefly, not to harm you but to be released properly. When protection increases, unresolved things sometimes surface for closure. If this happens, do not panic. Closure is part of cleansing. You are not regressing. You are completing cycles. Pay attention to your dreams in the coming days. Not because you must interpret every detail, but because your subconscious is recalibrating. Dreams may become clearer, calmer, or more symbolic. This is your mind learning to rest again. Beloved, there is something else happening quietly. Your discernment is sharpening. You will sense what belongs and what does not more easily now. This is not judgment. This is clarity. You will no longer need to analyze everything. You will simply know. Archangel Michael says this is how authority feels when it is restored. It is quiet confidence. It does not announce itself. It operates naturally. There may also be an invitation coming soon. An opportunity, a conversation, or a decision point. It will feel different than past ones. Less rushed. Less confusing. That is the sign that alignment is active. Do not overthink it. Respond with calm honesty. Your house is now supporting you instead of draining you. Walls that once held tension are now holding peace. This matters more than you realize, because what you carry forward will be influenced by the environment you return to each day. Archangel Michael wants you to release one last thing, the belief that you must always be on guard to be safe. That season required vigilance. This one requires trust. Trust does not mean carelessness. It means confidence in covering. If you feel moments of gratitude rising unexpectedly, let them flow. Gratitude stabilizes what protection establishes. It tells the unseen realm that peace is welcome here. You have done nothing wrong to deserve watching, and you have done everything right to deserve protection. Purpose attracts attention, but purpose also attracts guardianship. Heaven never assigns without covering. As this part of the message settles, allow yourself to rest more deeply tonight and in the nights ahead. Rest is not weakness. Rest is the reward of alignment. Archangel Michael remains stationed, but now as a sentinel of peace rather than a responder to threat. That distinction matters. It means the situation has changed. What comes next will build, not break. It will clarify, not confuse. And it will feel steady, not urgent. Stay receptive. Stay grounded. The story is still unfolding, but it is unfolding in your favor now. Beloved one, as the quiet settles more deeply into your space, Archangel Michael now draws your attention to something many overlook after protection is restored: responsibility without fear. This is not about burden. This is about stewardship. When a house returns to divine order, it begins to teach those who live within it how to remain aligned without strain. Archangel Michael explains that peace must be understood, not just felt. Peace is not the absence of activity, it is the absence of interference. You may still have challenges, decisions, and busy days, but the resistance beneath them hath been removed. The resistance was what exhausted you. Without it, even effort feels lighter. You may notice that you respond differently now. Situations that once triggered anxiety may simply pass through your awareness without attachment. This is not indifference. This is emotional authority returning to its rightful place. Authority does not react, it discerns. Here is an important shift happening internally. Your nervous system is learning that it is safe again. This takes time. Sometimes the body remembers stress longer than the spirit does. Be patient with yourself. Rest when needed. Drink in the stillness. Healing is not dramatic. It is consistent. Archangel Michael says that when a house is protected, it becomes a teacher. It teaches you what alignment feels like so you can recognize when something is off again in the future. This is wisdom being installed, not fear being maintained. You are not meant to live on alert. You are meant to live aware. Some of you may feel inspired to establish new rhythms. Morning quiet, evening gratitude, small practices that anchor peace. These are not obligations. They are invitations. Follow them gently. The goal is not discipline. The goal is harmony. You may also find that certain relationships feel different now. Not worse, just clearer. When internal noise quiets, truth becomes easier to hear. This may lead to honest conversations or natural distancing. Let this happen without guilt. Alignment always reorganizes connections. Archangel Michael reassures you that nothing essential will be lost. What leaves now is sustained by imbalance. What remains will be strengthened by truth. Your house is also influencing others more than you realize. Peace radiates. Visitors may feel calmer without knowing why. Conversations may soften. Conflict may dissolve more quickly. This is not because you are trying. It is because the atmosphere has changed. Be mindful not to dismiss this as temporary. It is stable. Stability feels subtle compared to chaos, but it lasts longer. Chaos demands attention. Peace supports life quietly. There is also a warning given with kindness. Do not romanticize the old tension. Sometimes people miss the intensity of struggle because it made them feel alive. But intensity is not the same as purpose. Purpose thrives in clarity, not crisis. If you feel moments of boredom or emptiness, do not rush to fill them. Those moments are where new vision forms. Silence is fertile. Let it work. Archangel Michael also speaks of protection extending beyond walls. What was secured in your house is influencing your decisions outside of it. You may find yourself avoiding places, conversations, or habits that once drained you. This is not avoidance born of fear. This is discernment born of peace. Your intuition will be stronger now, but quieter. It will not shout. It will nudge. Learn to listen without demanding proof. Authority trusts itself. Some of you will begin to sense gratitude not just for safety, but for timing. Looking back, you may realize how close things came to becoming heavier. That realization may stir humility. Let it deepen compassion, not anxiety. You were protected because it mattered. Archangel Michael says that vigilance now looks like presence, not scanning. Stay present in your body, present in your breath, present in your space. Presence closes doors without effort. If thoughts arise that try to reintroduce worry, acknowledge them without engagement. Worry is a habit that fades when not fed. You do not need to fight it. Simply do not invite it to stay. This season is about integration. Integrating safety into your identity. Integrating peace into your routine. Integrating trust into your decision. The watching has ended. The guarding remains. And now, the building begins. What is being built will not be rushed. It will be steady, sustainable, and rooted. Archangel Michael remains attentive, but he is no longer responding to threat. He is overseeing growth. That is a different assignment, and it means the environment is secure. Let this part of the message settle deeply. You are not returning to normal. You are moving into something healthier than what you called normal before. The foundation has been reset. And from this foundation, what rises next will stand without strain. Beloved soul, Archangel Michael now turns your attention from what has been restored to how it must be maintained without effort. This is where many people misunderstand protection. They think guarding means constant checking, repeating, or striving. But heaven's way is different. True protection teaches you how to live without anxiety while remaining fully aligned. What you are feeling now is not emptiness. It is spaciousness. The difference matters. Emptiness demands to be filled. Spaciousness invites what belongs. Your house has entered a phase where it can hold more without strain. More peace. More clarity. More purpose. This is why your emotions feel steadier even when circumstances have not changed much on the surface. Archangel Michael explains that after intervention, the mind often tries to return to old habits out of familiarity. Thoughts like, what if this doesn't last? Or what if something else goes wrong? May briefly appear. Do not judge yourself for this. Habits fade gently when they are no longer useful. You do not need to correct every thought. Awareness alone weakens old patterns. Your role now is simple but powerful. Consistency. Consistency in presence. Consistency in gratitude. Consistency in choosing calm over overthinking. These choices are not tests. They are confirmations that alignment has settled in. There is also an invitation here to recognize your growth. You are not the same person who needed this warning initially. Even listening this far proves that your discernment is active and mature. Many who have dismissed the nudge. You followed it. That obedience mattered. Archangel Michael wants you to understand something important about safety. Safety does not mean nothing will ever challenge you again. It means challenges will no longer have hidden access. They must approach openly, and when they do, you will recognize them early and respond wisely. That is authority. You may notice that your reactions are slower now, in a good way. You pause before responding. You breathe before deciding. This is not hesitation. This is sovereignty returning to the center of your life. Some of you will feel called to simplify. Less noise. Less unnecessary engagement. This is not withdrawal. This is refinement. When peace becomes valuable, you protect it naturally without force. Your house is now aligned with rest, and rest is productive in ways exhaustion never was. Ideas may come more easily. Solutions may feel obvious. This is because your mind is no longer divided. Archangel Michael also reminds you that gratitude spoken aloud carries weight. Not because words are magical, but because intention expressed stabilizes alignment. Even brief acknowledgments reinforce what has been established. Beloved, if this message has been guiding you and anchoring you, This is a moment to respond outwardly as well. When you like this video, you are signaling agreement. When you comment, you are activating your voice. When you share it, you extend protection to others who may still be unaware. Subscribe to this channel if you feel resonance, because these messages continue to arrive for those who need them at the right time. And if your spirit feels connected, joining the membership is a way to remain consistently covered and supported within this flow. Archangel Michael emphasizes that collective agreement strengthens individual protection. Light multiplies when it is acknowledged together. Here is also something else unfolding now. Confidence without arrogance. Calm without passivity. You are learning to occupy space without apology. This will influence how others treat you. Respect often follows inner alignment. If moments of doubt surface, do not wrestle them. Let them pass like weather. You are not required to prove your peace to yourself or anyone else. Peace proves itself by staying. Your house has become a place of reset. Returning home will feel grounding instead of draining. That is a sign that the environment is supporting you, not extracting from you. Archangel Michael says this stability is not fragile. It is resilient. It does not depend on perfect behavior. It depends on awareness. And awareness is now part of you. As you continue listening, keep your heart open. The next revelation connects directly to how this peace expands beyond your house and begins to influence your future steps. Hold on, because this next transition will bring clarity you did not know you were missing. Beloved one, Archangel Michael now invites you to look forward, not with urgency, but with steady vision. Protection has settled, peace has stabilized, and now direction begins to clarify. This is the stage where many people feel uncertain because calm does not announce what comes next loudly. What heaven does not rush revelation. It unfolds it. You may notice a quiet sense of anticipation rising within you. Not anxiety, not excitement, something gentler. This is readiness. Readiness does not push, it prepares. Your spirit is adjusting to the idea that life no longer has to be managed defensively. From this place, choices become clearer. Archangel Michael speaks of paths that were previously obscured by noise. When tension filled your space, it was difficult to hear guidance clearly. Now that interference has lifted, direction becomes more intuitive. You may feel drawn toward certain thoughts, ideas, or plans without overanalyzing them. Trust this. It is not impulse. It is alignment expressing itself. There is an important truth being revealed here. Safety creates capacity. When you are no longer focused on protecting yourself, energy becomes available for building, creating, and growing. This is why the season ahead may feel quietly productive. Not rushed, not forced, but steady. Some of you will begin to reconsider goals you once abandoned. Not because you failed, but because the timing was wrong. What felt heavy then may feel possible now. This is not nostalgia. This is opportunity returning under better conditions. Archangel Michael also speaks about discernment in movement. Just because you can move faster now does not mean you must. Speed is no longer required to outrun anything. Pace is determined by wisdom, not fear. Allow yourself to move thoughtfully. You may notice that you no longer feel pressured to explain yourself. Silence feels safer. Boundaries feel natural. This is not withdrawal. It is self-respect rooted in peace. When inner alignment is strong, external validation loses its grip. Your house continues to support this shift. Returning to it will feel like returning to yourself. This matters because clarity grows where rest is possible. You are not meant to make every decision in motion. Some insights arrive only when you are still. Archangel Michael reminds you that growth often begins quietly. Seeds do not announce themselves. They work beneath the surface. Do not underestimate subtle progress. It compounds. There may be moments when you question whether anything has truly changed because life still looks familiar on the outside. This is natural. But familiarity does not mean stagnation. Foundations are invisible once laid. You only notice them when something tries to shake the structure and fails. You are entering a season where resilience will be evident not in how much you endure, but in how little disturbs you. That is a different kind of strength, and it takes time to trust it. Some of you may feel called to reintroduce joy in small ways. Music, creativity, lightness. This is not distraction. Joy is a signal that safety has returned. Allow it without guilt. Archangel Michael also addresses an important inner shift, permission to envision without bracing for disappointment. When protection is active, hope no longer feels risky. You can imagine without fear of collapse. This opens the door to possibilities that were previously shut by self-protection. You are not required to make major decisions immediately. Let clarity mature. Mature clarity is calm and consistent. It does not rush you. These days, there may also be an increase in synchronicities, conversations that align, information that appears at the right moment. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations that you are moving within a supportive flow rather than against resistance. If you feel moments of gratitude toward your past self for surviving, honor that. But do not remain there. Survival is not the destination. Stability is the platform from which life expands. Archangel Michael stands now not as a guardian against threat, but as a guide over territory that is secure. This distinction matters. It means the focus has shifted from defense to direction. You will not be overwhelmed with instructions. Heaven speaks simply when peace is established. One step at a time. One insight at a time. Trust the pace. As this part of the message settles, notice how your body feels. Relaxation is not laziness. It is integration. Integration is where growth becomes sustainable. The path ahead is not dramatic. It is dependable. And dependable paths lead further than frantic ones ever could. Stay present. Stay grounded. The unfolding continues, and what is coming next will deepen your understanding of how this piece reshapes your future in practical, tangible ways. Beloved child, Archangel Michael now brings your awareness to a sacred transition that often goes unnoticed. The moment when protection matures into purpose. This is where many people become comfortable and stop listening, but you have been guided here because there is more unfolding. Peace was never the final destination. Peace is the foundation upon which assignment is revealed. Your house is now stable, but stability attracts responsibility. Not pressure, not burden, responsibility of influence. Archangel Michael explains that when a space becomes aligned, it begins to emit order. Order influences everything it touches. Your words, your decisions, your reactions now carry more weight than before, because they are no longer distorted by inner noise. You may feel an unusual clarity when speaking lately. Less need to justify. Less need to explain. That is not indifference. That is authority rooted in calm. Authority does not demand attention. It commands alignment quietly. There is something important being released here. The season where you were primarily receiving is shifting into a season where you also transmit. Not preaching. Not forcing. Simply being. Your presence now carries a stabilizing effect. and others may seek you out without knowing why. This is not because you have answers. It is because you carry peace. Archangel Michael reminds you that peace is rare in a noisy world. When people encounter it, they recognize it instinctively. This is why your house had to be secured first. Influence without grounding would have drained you. Now, influence flows without depletion. You may also notice an increased sensitivity to what disrupts peace. Not irritation, discernment. Certain environments, conversations, or content may suddenly feel heavy. This is not judgment. This is your spirit protecting alignment. Honor it without explanation. Beloved, this is where maturity expresses itself. Not by doing more, but by choosing better. Better conversations. Better rest. Better boundaries. These choices feel natural now because resistance has been removed. Archangel Michael speaks gently about temptation. Not temptation toward wrongdoing, but temptation toward distraction. When peace arrives, distraction often tries to imitate rest. Be mindful. Rest restores you. Distraction scatters you. You will feel the difference immediately. Your intuition is now your compass. Not fear-based intuition, but clarity-based knowing. When something aligns, it will feel grounded. When it does not, it will feel noisy. Trust this without overanalyzing. Some of you are realizing now that the warning that brought you here was not about danger, but about readiness. Readiness to hold what is coming without losing yourself. Readiness to move forward without carrying old tension. Archangel Michael says your house is now a witness. It has shifted, and that shift stands as testimony of the unseen. What was watching no longer has access, but what is watching now is heaven itself, observing growth rather than guarding threat. There may be moments where you reflect on how close things came to staying heavy. Let that reflection produce gratitude, not fear. Gratitude anchors humility. Humility keeps alignment open. Beloved, do not minimize how far you have come. Internal shifts are the hardest to measure, but they are the most powerful. You did not just avoid harm. You stepped into order. As this part of the message nears completion, there is a sealing that must happen through acknowledgement. This is not superstition. This is agreement. Agreement completes cycles. Type "My house is covered" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1463 is now activated. And now, let this flow naturally from what has just been released. What happened in your house was not meant to remain isolated. The same light that brought order to your space is meant to reach others who are still living under unseen pressure. I am speaking to you directly now. When you support this work through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, you are sowing into moments just like this for someone else. Scripture speaks of oil that did not run dry because obedience met opportunity, and your giving becomes that oil in motion. I bless every giver now with multiplied peace, strengthened households, and clarity in every decision. This is not charity. This is partnership with heaven's timing. Do not delay what your spirit already recognizes. Act now, and let your obedience become someone else's breakthrough. Beloved one, Archangel Michael now invites you into a deeper understanding of what it means to live from a secured place. Many think protection is an event, but heaven sees it as a posture. What has been established around your house is now being woven into your identity. This is subtle, but it is powerful, because identity shapes outcomes more than circumstances ever could. You may notice that your inner dialogue has changed. Thoughts feel less accusatory, less urgent, less harsh. This is not because life suddenly became easy, but because pressure is no longer defining your reactions. When pressure lifts, Truth has space to speak, and truth speaks calmly. Archangel Michael says this is the stage where discernment becomes wisdom. Discernment alerts you to what is off. Wisdom teaches you what to do next without panic. You are entering wisdom territory now. Decisions will feel less like survival choices and more like intentional steps. Some of you may find yourselves reviewing past situations with new eyes. Things that once confused you may suddenly make sense. Not to reopen wounds, but to close chapters properly. Understanding brings closure, and closure frees energy for what is ahead. There is also an emotional recalibration happening. You may feel less reactive to opinions, less pulled by external validation. This is not detachment. It is grounding. When your center is stable, external noise loses influence. Archangel Michael explains that when a house is aligned, it becomes a mirror. It reflects back to you what belongs and reveals quickly what does not. This saves you time. You will no longer need long seasons to realize something is misaligned. Recognition will be faster and gentler. You may also notice a growing comfort with stillness. Silence no longer feels awkward. This is a sign of internal safety. Unsafe environments require constant stimulation. Safe ones allow rest. Beloved, do not underestimate the power of this shift. Many people chase clarity through action, but clarity often arrives through stability. Because your foundation is secure, clarity is now finding you. Archangel Michael also speaks about trust. Trust in yourself. Not ego, not self-reliance, but confidence that you can respond wisely when needed. You no longer need to rehearse worst-case scenarios. Your nervous system is learning that support exists. There may be moments when you catch yourself expecting disruption out of habit. Gently release that expectation. Peace does not need to be defended anymore. It has been established. Your house continues to play a role in this transformation. It is no longer just where you live. It is where you reset, where you process, where you reconnect. Treat it with intention, not rigidity. Light, air, order. These support clarity. Archangel Michael reminds you that spiritual maturity often looks ordinary from the outside. There may be no dramatic signs, no announcements. But internally, you are becoming someone who responds rather than reacts. That is a profound shift. Some of you will feel prompted to revisit commitments or promises you made to yourself long ago. Not from guilt, but from readiness. What once felt impossible may now feel manageable because fear is no longer draining your energy. This is also a season of discernment regarding time. You may become more selective with how you spend it. Less tolerance for draining patterns. This is not selfishness. This is stewardship. Archangel Michael says your life is entering a phase where efficiency comes from peace, not pressure. Things will take less effort because resistance has been removed. Forward places force. If doubts arise questioning whether this calm will last, remember this. Peace rooted in alignment is not temporary. It adapts. It strengthens. It becomes part of who you are. Beloved, you are not waiting for something to happen. Something has already happened within you. The external world will adjust in response. This part of the message is meant to anchor you in confidence. Not excitement, not anticipation. Confidence. Confidence that you are equipped, covered, and capable of navigating what comes next with wisdom rather than fear. Archangel Michael stands as witness to this integration. What was once guarded is now governed. You are not just protected, you are aligned. As you move forward, let this understanding stay with you. The next revelation will bring practical clarity about how this inner shift begins to shape your future in visible, tangible ways. Beloved child, Archangel Michael now turns your attention to movement again, not rushed movement, not pressured movement, but intentional forward motion. This is where inner alignment begins to translate into outward change. Many people remain peaceful internally but hesitate to step forward. Heaven does not want hesitation to become stagnation. What has been stabilized within you is meant to move with you. You may notice that opportunities are beginning to feel different. Not louder, not more dramatic, but clear. Confusion once came from internal resistance. Now that resistance has lifted, options reveal their true nature more easily. You will know what aligns not because it excites you, but because it feels steady. Archangel Michael explains that fear often disguises itself as caution, but discernment feels calm, not tense. If a choice fills you with dread, it is not wisdom speaking. If it fills you with quiet confidence, even if challenges are involved, that is alignment confirming direction. This is also a season where procrastination loses its grip, not because you push yourself harder, but because clarity reduces avoidance. When something aligns, the body cooperates. Energy returns. Focus sharpens. Your house continues to anchor this process. Returning to a stable environment after engaging the world reinforces balance. This is why heaven secured your space first. Expansion without a safe return point leads to burnout. And now, growth is sustainable. Archangel Michael also speaks about voice. You may feel more willing to speak honestly, not aggressively, not defensively, but clearly. Clear speech is a sign of internal order. You no longer need to soften truth, to keep peace, because peace is already established. Some of you may notice that people respond differently to you now. Conversations feel more respectful. Boundaries are honored more easily. This is not because others change overnight. It is because your presence communicates clarity. Beloved, this is a powerful moment to acknowledge what is happening and to anchor it through shared awareness. When you like this video, you are affirming alignment. When you comment, you are declaring agreement. When you share it, you are extending clarity to someone who may still be confused or unsettled. Subscribe to this channel if these messages resonate with your spirit, because they are released in sequence, not randomly. And if you feel called, joining the membership keeps you connected to ongoing guidance and protection within this space. Archangel Michael emphasizes that collective alignment amplifies individual clarity. Light strengthens when acknowledged together. There is also a gentle instruction here. Do not rush to fill your calendar. Space is valuable now. Space allows insight to deepen. Say yes with intention, not obligation. You are allowed to move at a pace that honors your peace. You may also find that old fears surface briefly when you step into something new. This does not mean you are regressing. It means old patterns are being challenged by new movement. Let them pass. You do not need to negotiate with them. Archangel Michael reminds you that courage does not always feel bold. Sometimes courage feels like calm commitment. Showing up consistently without drama. Trusting alignment more than adrenaline. Your sense of timing will improve now. You will know when to act and when to wait without overthinking. This is wisdom activated through peace. Beloved, if at any moment you feel tempted to disengage from this message, pause. This is where it gets especially important. What is being revealed now connects directly to how your next steps unfold, and missing this would leave gaps that clarity was meant to fill. Stay present just a little longer. The future ahead of you is not chaotic. It is structured. Not rigid but ordered. Order supports growth. Chaos exhausts it. You are moving from one to the other. Archangel Michael says you will begin to recognize doors that open without force. When effort feels excessive, reassess alignment. What belongs opens smoothly. There may also be an invitation to trust your own judgment more. Seeking constant reassurance is a habit formed in unstable seasons. Stability teaches self-trust. You are learning this now. As this part settles, take note of how grounded you feel. Groundedness is the sign that movement will not destabilize you. You are not leaving peace behind as you move forward. You are carrying it with you. Archangel Michael stands watch as you transition from preparation into application. What has been built internally is now ready to support visible change. Remain open. Remain steady. The unfolding continues, and what comes next will bring final clarity about how all of this culminates in lasting transformation. Beloved one, Archangel Michael now draws everything together into a deeper awareness of permanence. What has unfolded so far was not temporary guidance for a moment of uncertainty. It was preparation for a lasting shift. Many people experience peace briefly and assume it will fade. Heaven is correcting that belief now. This peace was not borrowed. It was installed. You may sense a new steadiness when you wake up and when you rest. The days feel less fragmented. Even when responsibilities remain, they no longer pull you apart internally. This is the sign that alignment has moved from effort into structure. Structure holds even when emotions fluctuate. Archangel Michael explains that lasting transformation does not announce itself loudly. It integrates quietly. You may not feel different every moment, but you will notice that old reactions no longer fit. Old fears feel out of place. Old habits feel unnecessary. This is not loss. This is evolution. There is a refining happening now in how you perceive yourself. You are no longer defining yourself by what you survived, but by what you are becoming. Survival stories fade when stability takes root. Growth stories begin when safety is assumed rather than questioned. Some of you may notice a deeper sense of dignity emerging. Not pride, dignity. You treat yourself with more respect. You guard your time. You choose your words carefully. This is not because you are afraid of mistakes, but because you value your inner order. Archangel Michael speaks about identity realignment. When protection was active, your identity shifted from reactive to responsive. Now it shifts from responsive to anchored. Anchored people are not easily swayed by trends, opinions, or emotional tides. They listen, discern, and then decide. This is why you may feel less urgency to prove anything. Validation loses urgency when self-recognition stabilizes. You no longer need to convince others of your worth or direction. Quiet consistency speaks for you. There may also be moments where you grieve parts of yourself that lived in constant alertness. That version of you kept you safe when things were uncertain. Honor it, but release it. You no longer need to live from that posture. Archangel Michael reminds you that healing is not erasing the past. It is changing your relationship to it. Memories may remain, but they no longer command your nervous system. You remember without reliving. That is freedom. Your house continues to play a role in this permanence. It has become a place of reinforcement. Each time you return, it reminds your body and mind of safety. Over time, this reprograms stress responses naturally. You are not forcing calm. Calm is teaching you how to live. Some of you will notice increased patience with yourself. You do not rush your own process anymore. This patience is wisdom. Growth that is rushed often collapses. Growth that is allowed matures. Archangel Michael also speaks of discernment and legacy. What you are establishing now will influence others long after this moment passes. Not through instruction, but through example. People learn stability by being around it. There may be opportunities to mentor, support, or simply listen to others in the future. You will not feel drained by this because your foundation is secure. Overflow serves without depletion. Beloved, notice how fear has lost its authority. It may still appear, but it no longer directs you. It informs you briefly and then steps aside. This is the proper order. Fear is a signal, not a ruler. Your confidence now is quiet but resilient. It does not depend on perfect outcomes. It rests in your ability to adapt without losing yourself. This is true strength. Archangel Michael affirms that what was once watch is now witness. Heaven witnesses your growth. Heaven witnesses your restraint. Heaven witnesses your discernment. This witness is not judgment. It is affirmation. As you approach the completion of this message, let this understanding settle deeply. You are not waiting for peace to return someday. You are living from it now. Decisions, relationships, and direction will continue to adjust around this center. There may be moments when life tests this stability, not to remove it, but to confirm it. When those moments come, you will be surprised by how naturally you remain grounded. That will be your confirmation. Archangel Michael remains present, not because danger is near, but because growth is sacred. Guardianship continues where purpose unfolds. Remain attentive. Remain humble. Remain grounded. The final revelation will bring closure to this warning and open the way for what comes next, sealing everything that has been established permanently. My beloved child, Archangel Michael now speaks with a calm finality, not as an ending, but as a sealing. What began as a warning has completed its work. What felt urgent has become established. This is the moment where heaven closes a chapter so that nothing can reopen it without permission. The watching that once surrounded your house has fully ceased, not temporarily, not conditionally, but decisively. This final part is not about instruction. It is about confirmation. Archangel Michael says that the greatest sign of true protection is not constant awareness of danger, but the absence of it from your thoughts. You are no longer scanning. You are no longer bracing. You are living. And that shift is irreversible because it is rooted in alignment, not circumstance. Your house is now recognized in the unseen as settled ground. Settled does not mean inactive. It means established. It means nothing unfamiliar can linger without being noticed. It means peace is not fragile here. It is enforced by order. You may notice that the memory of the warning already feels distant, even though it brought you here. That is intentional. Fear is not meant to be remembered. Only wisdom remains. The urgency has done its job and stepped aside. Archangel Michael affirms that what could have unfolded tonight has been redirected. Not postponed. Not negotiated. Redirected. This is what happens when awareness arrives on time. Timely awareness collapses entire outcomes before they ever manifest. There is nothing left for you to do except continue living from the posture you now carry. Calm. Discernment. Presence. These are not practices you must maintain consciously. They are qualities that have integrated into you. If you reflect back on how you felt before this message began and how you feel now, you will notice the difference not in emotion, but in steadiness. That steadiness is the evidence. Steadiness means you are no longer vulnerable to sudden shifts. Archangel Michael wants you to understand something clearly. This protection did not isolate you from life. It anchored you within it. You will still experience joy, challenge, decision, and growth. but none of these will knock you off center the way they once could. Your house will continue to support you as a place of renewal. Not escape, but restoration. When you return to it, you will feel yourself return to clarity more quickly than ever before. That is the mark of a secure dwelling. Some of you may never know what was fully prevented, and that is mercy. Heaven does not replay in your misses for drama. It removes them quietly. Gratitude is the only response required. Archangel Michael also releases you from the need to seek signs or confirmations after this. The confirmation is already present in your peace. Seeking signs when peace is present can reopen doors that were meant to stay closed. Trust what has settled. From this moment forward, your awareness serves you without burden. You will notice shifts early, respond wisely, and move forward without delay. This is maturity. This is authority. This is the result of listening when it mattered. Now receive this final sealing. Type IT is sealed in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2247 is now released over your house, your rest, and your future. And now, hear this final word flowing directly from what has just been sealed. What protected your house tonight was not meant to stop with you. There are countless others still living under pressure they cannot name, waiting for the same light to reach them. I am speaking to you personally now. Your support is not a transaction. It is a prophetic response. When you give through super thanks, membership, or PayPal, you are sowing into moments where God interrupts danger with awareness, just as he did here. Scripture declares that those who water others will themselves be watered, and I speak that promise over every giver now. Your obedience releases covering not only over others, but over your own household continually. Do not delay what your spirit already recognizes as alignment. Support this mission now, and let what was sealed in your house tonight multiply through you into the lives of many.